We've got our local Wi-Fi network here. It's got some SSID and password. There's a Raspberry Pi attached to that Wi-Fi router. It's got an IP address, and we have a Mosquitto MQTT broker installed, and it's exposed on port 1883. On my desktop, we're going to program an ESP32 to talk to this network, and then use the PubSubClient library to attach to that Mosquitto broker using the information here. I've already set up some basic scaffolding. We've got a platform IO project. Here in main, you see that we're bringing in two libraries. We're going to bring in some credentials and some Wi-Fi tools. Credentials right now give us an SSID and password, which we will in main inject into our Wi-Fi tools so that Wi-Fi can be initiated. And then in the loop, whenever Wi-Fi is connected, we're going to do something. And if it's not connected, we're going to reconnect. So we can compile that and upload. The device will then connect to the internet. We don't need to talk about how this is working for now. This video is about MQTT. What we care about is, so long as we were connected, we're going to do something, which means establish and maintain an MQTT connection. So we'll go ahead and set up the third library here for our MQTT functionality. We'll give it a header and a source file. And the idea is that in main, we can include this library. We can call MQTT setup in setup. And then in loop, so long as we're connected, we're going to maintain that MQTT connection. So we'll start drafting the header file. We'll create a class for MQTT. It will have a constructor. And we'll prototype those two functions, setup and maintain. In the source file itself, we'll define the constructor, which takes nothing and does nothing, and then we'll create our actual MQTT object instance here. Here's some placeholders for our setup and maintain functions. Our MQTT object can only be created once on the global scope, so we'll do that here, and then in the header file, we will extern it so that anybody that includes the header file will have access to that one single instance that was created in our library. So in main, we can include MQTT.h and then simply call our MQTT setup and MQTT maintain. It's time to bring in our PubSubClient library. In Platform IO, you list it in the platform.io.ini file. And if this library doesn't already exist, Platform IO will pull it down for you. In Arduino IDE, you simply search on PubSubClient, and you can see I already have it installed here as well. Inside of our library, we're going to create a private object. Well, first we'll bring in the PubSubClient up top, and then we'll use that to create our MQTT client, which will remain private inside our library. In setup, the first thing you need to do is attach this MQTT client to a Wi-Fi client. This gets a little bit confusing. We're saying for our client, we want to set another client, which is Wi-Fi client. MQTT is going to ride on top of Wi-Fi. So for that Wi-Fi client to exist, we have to include Wi-Fi client.h. Now this is different than Wi-Fi.h. Wi-Fi.h establishes a Wi-Fi connection. Wi-Fi client is a user of that connection. Down below, we'll create our Wi-Fi client, which can now be used by MQTT to connect. Second, we have to set the server. This is also a bit of a misnomer. I always wondered, why do you have to call it a broker instead of a server? Now I kind of get it. With MQTT client set server, we're telling the client where the broker is. You may have noticed I'm doing a lot of things in reverse order. Here, I'm going to give this function variables that don't yet exist. We know the IP address of our Raspberry Pi, and we know the port, which is exposing Mosquitto. I'm going to add that to the credentials. We'll define an MQTT host and an MQTT port. The host has to be a string. The port will just be an integer. Main is already bringing in credentials, so we will take those and pass them to our MQTT setup. Now we have to change our function definitions. In the source file, I'm changing setup to accept those parameters. a constant character pointer, and then an integer. And I'll also update the prototypes in our header file. Our maintain function is only going to get called whenever there's a Wi-Fi connection. So we just have to ask the question, if we are not connected to the broker, we're going to want to connect. If we are connected, then we're going to want to loop. .loop is a function that checks to see if any messages have come in. We don't have that set up yet. Let's leave this here for now because we will need it there. Now for the connect, we do just simply call .connect, but we have to provide a unique client ID for this to work. For now, I'll define a single client ID. But when you get past this stage, you're going to need some additional mechanism to create a unique ID for each device that you program. So we're going to burn this up, and it theoretically connects, but it doesn't say anything because we haven't added any serial prints. So I'll go back and do that. This .connect function actually returns a Boolean. It is true if you successfully connect. So we can just say if connect, print that we are connected. Burn it one more time. And you see that after getting that Wi-Fi connection, we are in fact connected. We're going to go ahead and get your ESP32 connected to your Mosquitto broker. After that, next week, we'll get into publishing and then subscribing. After that, we'll start talking about the Raspberry Pi and getting that to attach to the same broker so you can start interacting with your IoT devices. If you want to keep seeing these videos as they come out, go ahead and subscribe and you'll see all of them. Remember, our broker is running on this Raspberry Pi. I'm going to go over in a window and SSH onto that Pi. I'm running the broker in Docker. So I'm going to go to the location of the Docker compose file and call Docker compose down. And the ESP32 goes nuts. I'll turn the broker back on so it calms down. The ESP32 is programmed to reconnect every time it disconnects. But if there's no broker, it immediately gets an error and goes back through loop and tries again. We need to add a timer to this reconnect attempt. For now, let me create this dummy Boolean and just say it's true. Whenever we should reconnect, we will try to do so. Then I'm going to go into my header file and start to get some new values that we can use to run this timer. I'll set it to retry every 3 seconds. Now, instead of true, let's just replace it with the classic microcontroller, timer, scheduler, whatever you call it. Whenever we exceed the interval, we will reconnect. And by the way, if we fail to connect, we should log that that happens as well. Remember, we have to reset our timer every time we do reconnect. So let's burn this. We get MQTT connected. I'm now going to Docker compose down off the screen. And you'll see that every 3 seconds, it will attempt to connect. I'll hit Docker compose up. Now, many seconds later, it then reconnects to the broker. Now, sometimes you get a blip in your Wi-Fi connection, and that's not a good reason to wait 3 seconds to reconnect. So whenever we're connected, if we do lose that connection, we'll always immediately retry once using this isFirst Boolean. So here again, I'm going to break the connection and wait. Look at what we have here. We have our initial connection, and then as soon as the connection is dropped, we immediately try to reconnect and fail. But then after the first try, we go back to a 3-second cycle. In the actual PubSubClient library, you can see in the header file, we have a list of codes. These can be read with client.state. This allows us to create a logging function to give us some feedback if we ever fail to connect. In my log state function, I'm simply going to ask the question, what is our connection state? And then based on that number, we're going to serial print the feedback we're getting from the library. I'll go through the formatting very quickly. This is all basic stuff. And then whenever we fail to connect, we can just log state. I'm hitting Docker compose as this burns. So right off the bat, it should fail, which it does. And you see constate equals MQTT connect failed. This next addition makes your library really slick. Notice we have a public boolean is connected. We can set that value based on whether or not we've connected with our MQTT.connect function call. But additionally, out in main, we can set this value to false whenever we know that we've lost a Wi-Fi connection. Now, MQTT maintain is only called when we are connected. However, there are times when it will drop temporarily and return to connected. At this point, the MQTT connection has been dropped, but the library might not yet know it. So if we set it false here, we can force it to reconnect before it even knows it needs to in our maintain function. This prevents us from needlessly calling loop when we already know we're not connected. This next part might be a little cosmetic. I'm going to add an echo flag and set it to false. Then I'm going to add an enable logging function, which will just set that echo flag to true. Then down below, I'll take every serial print and make them dependent on this echo flag. Actually here, we're getting a little redundant. So I delete that line and I just bring the message down into our log state. And we only call log state if echo is true. Compile and run. And you see we get no feedback on our MQTT connection. But in setup, if we call enable logging, the feedback then comes through. I'm going to set the same up in the Wi-Fi tools library. Again, this is not the scope of this video, so I'm not going to explain everything, but I'm again going to just create an echo boolean, create a function that allows you to turn it to true, and I'm going to go through all the serial prints and revise them so they only log when echo is true. We'll call the enable logging for the Wi-Fi as well, and when we burn this, we see we still have our feedback for both Wi-Fi and MQTT. Let us wrap it up. Before we post this code to GitHub, we should hide the credentials file. I'm going to create a copy of credentials.h and call it credentials template. And then inside of that copy, I'm going to X out all of the values. In our git ignore, we should ensure that the credentials.h itself does not go to the cloud, but the template will. So when I upload, you see the template's there, and that is something that the user needs to fill out before they use this code. I'll have instructions in the README remind you of this. Now, I always promise that the code I'm writing is going to work with Arduino. Here, I'm going to create a folder called connect, and then a connect.ino, which is a sketch that can run in Arduino IDE. When I copy all of the library files into that same folder, and we burn it in Arduino IDE, we see after setting the baud rate to 115/200 that this works. So this code is officially Arduino IDE friendly. That's all for now. If you appreciate the efforts here today, please hit like to let YouTube know that. After this, we're going to go right into publishing with your ESP32. Thanks for sticking around. I'm Larry. I'll see you next week.